by Nwagu, who is the convener, Say No Campaign Nigeria. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you. Good morning.
Well, you heard what the commissioner said about the governor's return. First of all, he dismisses so many things, first and foremost. Where do you like to start? He says the governor has returned and he's going to continue his functions as governor.
Well, I think the thing to say is that it's first not correct to say that the governor returned. It's to say that the governor was brought back. And so when we say he was brought back, that would be the correct thing to say. He talked about tumultuous crowd. He said there was a tumultuous crowd that received the governor in Jalingo. And I know that Channels has reporters in Jalingo. If you don't have reporters in Jalingo, I know that there are other media that has reporters in Jalingo. Just like we saw the footage of his return at the airport. All that needed to be seen is the tumultuous crowd in Jalingo and the governor. Perhaps, no matter how tired he was, people have prayed for you. People are excited to see you return. All that is required, simple issue, is, guys, I'm back. Thank you for your prayers. I need to take a rest for a while, and then we can then have a conversation later. That has not happened. And all this drama, it's something that we have gone through. Holding on to legalistic ties is something that we do when it is convenient. Remember in 2010, we played it until we invented doctrine of necessity. We had to do Save Nigeria group. We had to put pressure. And there, as we were doing Save Nigeria, there were other people who were arguing that, oh, the president is healthy. In fact, we saw him riding bicycle. We have gone there. All of that we've gone through. So my sense is that this drama is unhelpful for not just the people of Taraba. It makes us, those are part of the things that make us a laughing stock in the Committee of Nations.
What should we be doing?
What we should do is a very simple thing. The governor is back. We're excited he's back. He's recovering. If you go to the hospital, for instance, there are times you are asked to go home and take some time to recover. If you are told to take some time to recover, what that means is that you stay off some work while those who have been doing stuff for you when you were, not fit. So the issue, the perspective I get is that people think that there's an excitement that, oh, the governor, we're happy that he's back. He needs to take some time and recover fully. Because this constitution that they happen talks about fitness. Now, there's a difference between recovery is a process. Fitness is a state. Now, this recovery period needs to allow the man who has held forth. It can take some time for him to recover, and nobody begrudges that. It can take 5 months, 6 months, 7 months to let the man who has been acting remain. But what is happening is that right now, this man has been put into a place where we'll be told that he said. He said.
But what about from what the image you saw, at least, of him coming
that
from
image,
the airport? Are you doubtful of anything?
You can't look at that image for a very long time if you have any feeling of human kindness. You will feel that the people who are doing this to His Excellency Governor Damba Suntai do not wish him well. And I'm worried that there are people who could still be arguing. And you see, all that happens to, the feeling that I get is what we have gone through before. We have seen all of this. And like Mahmoud said in your earlier conversation, I expect that there are people who call themselves, when you say you are a leader of a political party, when you have what you call board of trustees, the board of trustees is supposed to be seasoned, experienced people within the party or within any structure. They are supposed to wade in and say, look, gentlemen, you are bringing opprobrium to us as a people. There's a need for us to intervene and do the right thing.
Some people say this is a simple constitutional matter. The Constitution is very clear in terms of how these things are supposed to happen. If you have any doubts, this is not just for the Speaker to set up a medical panel and to ascertain the true state of health of the governor, in which his own personal physician would also be present. How difficult can that be?
Okay, things are always complicated. We complicate things in our country Very simple things are naturally complicated. But I sometimes worry for when we place this legalistic pull as a strong. In other times where it's easier for us to accept the resolution of issues in a political manner. There are times we come to that and say, I know this matter shouldn't be legal. Let us resolve it politically. Now
Is this one of them?
There's tension in that state. It's a simple thing. My take is simple. You are back. For 10 months, you were away. The Suntai that the people of Taraba voted for was healthy, capable, strong, intellectually sound, the one that talks to them regularly, the one that visits people, that goes to events. That's the one they voted. The one that we are talking about now is the one that is not talking. The one that has been back for more than 72 hours, and all that we get are commissioners, sundry characters, former ministers, members of Senate, all sorts of people saying he's back. The man is not saying thank you, I've been away. And we are drawing in legal issues, the constitution, he has transmitted the letter. Those in Taraba. But wait, is it correct for the acting governor to put out a statement that up as we speak now, he has not seen this governor?
Did he put it because you
okay, anyway, we hear he has not. You asked the question, and
yes.
And the man said there was tumultuous crowd. He didn't answer your question. The commissioner,
he did.
No, the commissioner did not answer. He said it is not true, but that on that day, that there was a crowd, that the situation was so in such a way that you couldn't. I listened to him carefully. He did not directly say the acting governor. You asked the question: was he prevented?
Well, that was Chamberlain.
Chamberlain asked the question, was he preferred? And the answer was not, that is not totally correct. What happened was that there was so much crowd. That is the acting crowd for an acting governor. In our country, in which we know that he has a host of security men who can clear the crowd and give him access to wherever he wants to go to. The speaker, the leadership of the House of the Assembly of that state, are unable to meet their government, and they are the ones who have been appropriating funds.
Do you think it was? What was your perception of the speaker's action, saying, "Well, look, this letter, I'm not sure about this letter."
I don't want to speak for the speaker and the motive. You can't you can't write off, political interplay in the state. That is not something you can write off. But I don't want to speak for him. But what is important is that the onus is on the governor's people to break the logjam in that state by appearance. All that you do and all of this will.
Yeah, but you heard him say that they've done so many things. I mean, that people have said all sorts of things, and at each point in time, they have stayed true to their word. They've been consistent through it all. The governor was alive. I mean, you heard that initially was contested. People said it was brain damage.
There are people who,
later on he couldn't walk.
The truth of the matter is that there are people who have had access abroad. At no point, internal wranglings and political side talks within Jalingo could be talking about the governor being dead. But nationally, the understanding is that he's receiving treatment. Even all of that was shrouded with some unpardonable opaqueness. It was so opaque. People could not access him in the hospital. Nobody could be allowed to see him. If somebody is ill.
But we saw pictures. We saw pictures eventually.
You know what pictures do. You know what pictures do. The truth of the matter is, journalists will go to visit the governor of a state who is in hospital in a particular place. All that is needed in other crimes is that there is a periodic, report about his recuperation, how much is coming back. Nobody wishes Dan Baba Suntai evil. In fact, many Nigerians are praying for him. Why do we make illness? It's not the first time. We had the first lady. There was also, she was on a trip abroad. Only later for people to also make statement and then have a Thanksgiving. You see, it's always shrouded in opaqueness. We need to come clear to our people and say, look, this is what I'm going through. This is where I am now. Our people are not as even if there is politics, even if there is a political interplay, when you come out clean and clear, all that will happen now is that the appurtenances of the office of the governor will still be with him. He's not going to be removed. He will be resting, and the man will be doing his job.
In all of this, so we've had Mr. Bello speak to us. We've had so many other people from that particular report. What can we do as Nigerians if all else seem not to be working?
Well, what we have done essentially is that the Taraba people themselves must shun the shenanigan that is going on right now and save their states. When Save Nigeria group came up, this same kind of debate was what we had through that period, until the protests took place, until the National Assembly was then prodded to invent a political quasi-constitutional resolution of the crisis, of what you then call doctrine of necessity. But the leaders of this country, both temporal and spiritual, must come together to say, look, we need to remove the shame that unwittingly we constantly foist on ourselves.
All right, let's look
and
at this
what we need to do then is that us as civil society will strengthen civil society groups within Taraba to ask the relevant station, push that all that is necessary to be done to restore governance. Because all of this, what will happen in the next few months, will be absence of governance. And
that's
people,
in Taraba.
In Taraba.
But that seems to be contrary to what the commissioner says.
No, listen.
He says in the coming days and months.
No, he said in the coming days and months, Nigerians